Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I'm Jelani Cobb, Dean of Columbia's Graduate School of Journalism. It's always nice to get applause just for being who you are. Welcome to the 87th Annual Mariah Moore's Cabot Prizes Ceremony, the oldest awards in international journalism. We gather here tonight to celebrate outstanding journalism in and about Latin America. The 2025 prizes, as always, honor those who have dedicated their careers to understanding and reporting on key parts of our hemisphere and our world, from Brazil to Cuba, Mexico to Puerto Rico, and beyond. First, let me welcome this year's honorees. From Mexico, Isabella Cota. So I have like these little capsule biographies that you all seem to not need, but I'm going to read them anyway. She's a reporter and Latin America Partnership Coordinator with the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. Omaya Sosa Pascual. From the Center for Investigative Journalism, or CPI, in Puerto Rico. She is one of the Caribbean's foremost reporters and editors. From the Miami Herald and El Nuevo Herald, reporter Nora Gámez Torres. She is known for her coverage of Cuba. And from Brazil, Natalia, Viana. She is a reporter and editor and the co-founder of Agência, Pública, a nonprofit independent media outlet. Congratulations to all of the 2025 Cabot medalists. It's good to see representation from the Caribbean this year, from Puerto Rico. Investigative journalism is also well represented in these awards. In addition to the 4 gold medals, we will give special citations to 2 accomplished journalists this evening. The first is to Jaime Abello Banfi. We were talking outside, I said, you are far too young to receive this. Co-founder of the Gabo Foundation in Colombia, a nonprofit organization founded with Gabriel Garcia Marquez to support and promote good journalism. The second citation will go to Peruvian investigative journalist, Paola Margot Ugaz Cruz. That's very funny. Welcome to our citation recipients, and just in case people did not know who Paola was, welcome to our citation recipients and to your friends and family. We are fortunate to have with us this evening Acting President of Columbia University, Claire Shipman. See her? She will host these proceedings. Welcome to Acting President Shipman, and thank you for being here. Now, I'd also like to recognize some special people who are with us this evening. First, welcome to the Cabot family. Yes. Your leadership and continued support enables us to pay tribute to the best reporting about the Americas. Next, I would like to welcome past Cabot medalists, as well as members of the Cabot board, a well-known group of scholars and journalists who contribute their expertise to choose our winners each year. We appreciate all that you do collectively for the prizes. We can applaud them. And definitely, absolutely, I want to make sure that we thank our Professional Prizes Department for administering these awards and producing tonight's ceremony. And finally, I would like to acknowledge our journalism school students who are in attendance, especially our international students and this year's Cabot Scholars. All right, thank you. They come to us from Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and Peru. I hope you can speak to our students tonight. They are seated throughout the room, including members of the student chapter of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. Now, I will stop talking and I will allow you to enjoy your dinner. When I come back, we will start the ceremony honoring the 2025 Cabot Prize winners. Thank you. So now we will begin with the official portion of the award ceremony, recognizing some of the most important journalism produced in and about Latin America in the past year. This has been a difficult year for journalists in Latin America, in the United States, and around the world. According to Reporters Without Borders, at least 17 and likely more journalists have been killed while conducting their work in Latin America this year. They're mourned along with the dozens of journalists who've been killed this year in Gaza and the occupied territories, at least 10 of whom were killed by targeted attacks by the Israeli government in a single month. In the United States, the president has authorized armed, anonymous agents to snatch people off the streets based solely upon their appearance and the language they speak. I am aware of the irony. We've invited you here to celebrate journalism of the Spanish-speaking world in a country where the mere speaking of Spanish in public has become a political act. It has become a political act to speak Spanish in public. Así que esta noche, por respeto, a todos los que han viajado para estar aquí esta noche, voy a pronunciar estos comentarios en español. Les ruego, disculpen mi terrible acento. En Estados Unidos, hemos visto a la administración Trump atacar a la prensa libre, utilizando armas de intimidación, demandas multimillonarias y presiones financieras ejercidas sobre las empresas propietarias de las organizaciones de noticias. Lamentablemente, estas tácticas han logrado cambiar el panorama de la libertad de expresión y la primera enmienda en algo que apenas reconocemos. A menudo se dice que los cambios que estamos presenciando en Estados Unidos no tienen precedentes, pero nada más lejos de la realidad. Esta historia está a nuestro alrededor si nos interesa verla. Hace varios años, manejé de San Francisco a Los Ángeles. La ruta me llevó a través de los desiertos del centro de California. manejé durante horas a través de un paisaje austero y abierto hasta que vi un señal que reconocí al instante. Decía Manzanar. El nombre del mayor campo de internamiento de japoneses americanos durante la Segunda Guerra Mundial. Fueron detenidos en mitad de la noche, obligados a renunciar a sus propiedades y enviados a campos en medio del desierto, todos ellos basándose en quiénes eran y qué aspecto tenían. En 1942, un japonés americano de 23 años llamado Fred Korematsu demandó al gobierno federal alegando que el traslado de japoneses americanos era inconstitucional. En 1944, la Corte Suprema de Estados Unidos dictaminó que era legal detener a los estadounidenses de origen japonés, pero una minoría de jueces denuncia la decisión como un ejemplo del mismo racismo contra el que Estados Unidos luchaba en la guerra. Sin embargo, lo más importante no es que Korematsu perdiera el caso, sino el valor que demostró al presentarlo. Por desgracia, nuestros problemas actuales le resultarían familiares. Le resultarían familiares a los inmigrantes chinos, a lo que prohibió la entrada en el país en 1888, y a las familias de los negros asesinados por intentar votar en el sur de Estados Unidos en las décadas anteriores al movimiento por los derechos civiles. Concluiré con una última observación. Cada año honoramos la increíble valentía y integridad de los periodistas seleccionados para los premios Cabot. Este año, más que nunca, nos fijamos en su valentía como ejemplo de cómo debemos afrontar nuestros propios retos como periodistas que trabajamos en Estados Unidos. Hace mucho tiempo aprendí que existe una relación directa entre el grado de democracia en una sociedad y el grado de valentía de las personas que viven en ella. Les agradecemos su trabajo. Les agradecemos su compromiso. Y sobre todo, les agradecemos su valentía. Doy las gracias al personal hispanohablante de la Facultad de Periodismo que me ha ayudado a practicar este discurso. Y para Rosenthal, el año que viene hablaré en portugués. So, for people in the room like myself who do not speak Spanish, I'm going to I'll quickly read what I said. In the United States, the president has authorized armed and anonymous agents to snatch people off the streets based solely upon their appearance or the language they speak. I'm aware of the irony. We have invited you here to celebrate journalism of the Spanish-speaking world in a country where merely speaking Spanish in public has become a political act. In the United States, we have seen the Trump administration attack the free press using weapons of intimidation, multi-billion-dollar lawsuits, and financial pressures placed upon the companies that own news organizations. And sadly, these tactics have been successful in changing the landscape of free speech and the First Amendment into something that we barely recognize. It is often said that the changes that we are witnessing in the United States are without precedent, but nothing could be further from the truth. The history is all around us if we care to see it. Several years ago, I drove from San Francisco to Los Angeles. The route took me through the deserts of Central California. I drove for hours through the stark, open landscape before I saw a sign that I recognized instantly. It said Manzanar, the name of the largest internment camp where Japanese Americans were held during World War II. They were taken in the middle of the night, forced to relinquish their property, and delivered to camps in the middle of the desert based upon who they were and what they looked like. In 1942, a 23-year-old Japanese American named Fred Korematsu sued the federal government, alleging that the removal of Japanese Americans was unconstitutional. In 1944, the United States Supreme Court ruled that it was legal to detain Japanese Americans. But a minority of justices denounced the decision as an example of the very racism that the United States was fighting against in the war. Yet what matters most here is not that Mr. Korematsu lost his case, but the courage he displayed in bringing it in the first place. Our current troubles would unfortunately look familiar to him. They would look familiar to Chinese immigrants who were banned from the country in 1888, and to the families of black people who had been murdered for attempting to vote in the American South in the decades before the Civil Rights Movement. The President of the United States, I said that already. No. And so I delivered these comments in Spanish out of respect for everyone who has traveled here tonight. And please forgive my terrible accent. And I will conclude with a final observation. Each year we honor the incredible courage and integrity of the journalists selected for the Cabot Awards. This year more than ever, we look to your courage as an example of how we should approach our challenges as journalists working in the United States. I learned long ago that there's a direct ratio between the amount of democracy in a society and the amount of the courage of the people who live within that society. We thank you for your work, we thank you for your commitment. More than anything, we thank you for your courage. And then I thanked the staff at the journalism school who patiently listened to me as I mangled this speech multiple times, and so thank you. And so please welcome the chair of the Cabot Jury, Rosenthal Alves.
Boa noite, eu vou falar em português. No, just kidding. Okay, thank you, Jelani. I think you did a great job, and your accent was good. Well, it was a gringo accent, but that's normal. Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to participate in these proceedings here at Colombia. To all the honorees tonight, welcome, welcome. Bienvenidas, bienvenido, bem-vinda. To my fellow judges, thank you for your hard work selecting these outstanding groups of winners. Working with you, the judges, on these important awards is a highlight for me every year. To the journalism school and Abby Wright and Luz Montes, who run these awards. Thank you for all the great work organizing this beautiful event in this beautiful room. Acting President Shipman, welcome. I hope you will enjoy connecting with the heroic and dedicated journalists you will meet tonight. We are very happy to share this wonderful occasion with you. These Cabot Prizes honor journalists who are innovating, connecting, and engaging with local and global communities in their reporting in Latin America, often under adverse repressive conditions. This year's winners are no exception. Their leadership and collective courage under pressure is truly inspiring. The 2025 Cabot winners are also generous, very generous, mentoring the next generation of reporters. These awards lift up journalism from a region that is often undercovered in the United States, and yet is fundamental to progress and security in the hemisphere and in the world. Please join me in welcoming to the podium the acting president of Columbia University, Claire Shipman. Claire Shipman was appointed acting president in March 2025. Shipman has co-written 4 New York Times bestsellers with BBC's Kathy Kay, including The Confidence Code and The Power Code. Her work on the economic argument for women in leadership and the confidence gap young girls and women often face has driven change in workplaces and schools across the nation. Shipman herself has a stellar background in journalism. Isn't that great to have an acting president of Colombia who is a journalist? She built, well, in Latin America, you are a journalist. And when you are a journalist, you are a journalist forever. Here in the United States, they say, I'm a former journalist. No, if you are a journalist, you are a journalist. She built an award-winning journalism career with CNN and NBC and ABC, where she covered major global events, including the collapse of the Soviet Union. She holds 2 degrees from Colombia, a Master of International Affairs from the School of International and Public Affairs, and a Bachelor's of Arts in Russian Studies. She did not understand the Spanish too much, but the Russian she would. Please welcome to the podium, Claire Shipman.
Thank you.
This was great.
Thank you so much, Jelani Rosenthal. It's wonderful to be here with both of you and everybody in this room. What a fabulous evening. It is such a pleasure for me to be able to celebrate the exceptional career achievements of the Cabot Prize winners covering the Americas. And again, just to Jelani, the Cabot family, the Cabot Jury, thank you for inviting me to help carry on this 87-year-long tradition of these awards, the oldest prizes in international journalism. And to all the Columbia students here, it's really wonderful to share this evening with you. To all of tonight's winners, wow. I've read about you all day. It's just remarkable. Your work in journalism takes true courage to keep investigating, asking questions, reporting on difficult subjects, as Jelani was talking about, in the face of enormous, sometimes life-threatening pressures is truly inspiring, as is the work you do to mentor and encourage the future generations of journalists. I was really struck by the fact that for the second time in the history of the Cabot Prizes, all of our medalists tonight are women. let's just be honest. Women are great journalists, right? We're really good at asking questions. We're also really good at listening. And we're really dogged. We tend not to give up. So this is not surprising to me. But as somebody who worked for decades in the news business, I also understand the specific challenges that women can face as journalists. And those books Rosenthal was mentioning and all of the research I conducted, and given my own life experience, I know it can be a struggle to do this sort of intense and rewarding work, but that's why it's so remarkable to see what you've accomplished, and just such an honor to be here tonight to celebrate these achievements with the Cabot Gold Medal. So let's begin our celebration. I would like to invite our first Cabot Gold medalist to the podium, Isabella Cota. So Isabella has dedicated her career to covering the economy and business in Latin America for a range of publications, including El País, Reuters, and Bloomberg. Her hard-hitting investigative reporting often focuses on political corruption and financial crimes. In her native Mexico, she exposed the costs that organized crime groups exact on businesses large and small, and affecting everything from transportation to tortillas. In Costa Rica, she broke news about how the international drug trade infiltrated the country's prized national parks. And she followed the dark money used by Christian conspiracy groups to spread disinformation and run false abortion clinics in Latin America. Her investigative reporting has spanned multiple countries to show how corruption works. Isabella has a keen eye for the everyday people affected by economic policies and security failures. Her unique approach to journalism also incorporates gender and inequality, even when catering to a business-savvy audience. She's a mentor to female journalists, and she's an inspiration to many. For her outstanding journalistic work and her contributions to inter-American understanding, the Mariah Moore's Cabot Jury is proud to honor Isabella Cota with the Cabot Gold Medal.
Testing. You can all hear me, right? I am beyond honored to be recognized alongside these impressive, courageous women. Thank you to Columbia University for this award. You truly made one of my dreams come true. I want to thank my friends who are here tonight. It means the world to me that you're here. I want to thank my parents as well, also here tonight. My parents sacrificed and worked really hard to give my sisters and me a great education, an education that is undoubtedly the foundation of the work I am privileged to do today. Thank you to my wonderful husband, Adam, also here tonight, who is also my colleague, my life partner in the full extent of the word. I wouldn't be here without your support, babe. I love you. I struggled for months to find an issue to focus on for these 3-minute remarks. Lately, it feels like there are too many serious and equally important events unfolding at the same time. What could I possibly say to you all here tonight that you don't already know? I suspect that everyone here is doing their best to navigate these intense times without succumbing to fear. So instead, I'm going to tell you something that you don't know, which is that I didn't know what I was getting into when I chose to be a journalist. 20 years ago, Mexico looked very different. We had just elected our first democratic government. We had high hopes for our open trade economy. And most importantly, Journalism was a relatively safe profession for a young woman. I had no way of predicting that Mexico would devolve into the most dangerous place to practice journalism outside of a war zone. But also, I didn't know what I was getting into because I didn't think too much about it. My second semester of university, journalism found me. It pinched me and clung to me like no other subject did. And from that point on, everything I did was to make sure that I could do this for a living. In 20 years, the stakes have gotten higher and higher. The work has gotten riskier and more pressing. It's also gotten deeper and more meaningful for me personally. Some global business leaders out there like to say that in the age of social media, journalism is becoming irrelevant. But Mexico offers the most heartbreaking and enraging proof that that is not the case. Since the year 2000, 164 journalists have been murdered in Mexico merely for doing their job. They lost their lives because they threatened someone's business interests. So I accept this medal tonight in their name and memory. I am grateful for this recognition and for the opportunity to do journalism every day. It is a privilege, and I do not take it for granted. Gracias.
Isabella, congratulations again. Now, for the next medal, could we call Omaya Sosa Pascual to the podium? For almost 3 decades, Omaya has forged a distinguished career in journalism in Puerto Rico and abroad, becoming one of the Caribbean's leading reporters and editors. She's known for her energy, her ideas, and her resolve. In 2007, she co-founded the Center for Investigative Journalism, CPI, the region's first nonprofit investigative journalism center. Under her leadership, it became a leading force, revealing government corruption, the true death toll from Hurricane Maria in 2017, electoral irregularities, and many other highly sensitive issues. Investigating power in the Caribbean with few resources and often alone is a daunting task for journalists, especially on small islands where job opportunities are scarce. Omaya's commitment under these circumstances has made her a role model and a mentor for many. In 2015, she co-founded the CPI's Journalism Training Institute with special curricula and workshops for journalists from the Caribbean and Latin America. It also guides and edits local and regional investigations. For her outstanding contribution to inter-American understanding through her exemplary journalistic leadership, the Mariah Moore's Cabot Prize Journey is proud to honor Omaya Sosa Pascual with the Mariah Moore's Cabot Gold Medal. Congratulations.
Wow, what a night. You're gonna have to forgive me, I need my glasses, I'm already there. Anyway, buenas noches a todos y a todas. Boa noite, I'm trying that. Good evening to Acting President Claire Shipman, to Dean Jelani Cobb, to Rosenthal Alves, to Abby Wright, to Luz Montes, thank you Luz for everything, distinguished members of the jury and everyone here tonight, and I have to call out my husband, he's gonna hate it, but thank you for being here. It is a great honor for me to be here to receive this prestigious award given by such distinguished members of the jury and held before me by journalists I admire so much and the colleagues that are being honored with me tonight. Thank you. Some of them are among the most important role models I have had in my 29-year career as a journalist. Thank you all. I am also very proud to be the first Puerto Rico-based journalist to receive this distinction in 87 years. I am just so happy to see my flag over there. Thank you so much. Viva Puerto Rico. So, and also one of only half a dozen Caribbean journalists to earn this recognition. So it was passed to. 40 million souls live in this region, one of the most colonized and exploited of the world, where many criminals and powerful people find a playground. They all love us for vacation. Great journalism is being produced in the Caribbean with very little resources, and I see this prize as a recognition of the quality of the work of all these journalists and of the news organizations I represent, and the news organization I represent, Centro de Periodismo Investigativo. Thank you to my colleagues from CPI that are here tonight too. More importantly, it's a recognition of the importance of Puerto Rican and Caribbean people's struggles and stories. Thank you for this affirmation. Nonetheless, I must confess it was a hard decision for me to come here to the United States, to New York City, and to Columbia University this week. I was afraid. I am afraid. And I have never been afraid to come to this country that in my lifetime has been at the global forefront of the defense of human rights and freedom of speech. It took me a long time to think about this short speech. I would be at one of the best journalism schools in the world, and I felt I had to carefully measure each word I would say. That is just not right. It is not the world all of us here tonight want to live in. We are living in very difficult times. Many horrendous abuses are taking place. Gaza, Ukraine, abuse against migrants, racially and culturally motivated arrests, the overwhelming power of big tech, social and political polarization, silencing of the universities. There has been a continuous escalation of hate, intolerance, and violence. And these are just some of the daily aggressions that all of us, citizens of the Americas and of the world, are facing on a daily basis. And so, this is the main reason why I'm here tonight, because it is in these challenging times that we journalists are needed the most. We cannot be paralyzed. We cannot let fatigue and frustration overcome us. On the contrary, we need to step it up and keep fighting. We need to keep shedding light on the truth. We need to keep holding power accountable, and we must continue to defend the most vulnerable and abused people in our societies. We journalists need to keep working together to survive. So today, I renew my commitment before you, with all of these goals as my compass. These are the core values of journalism itself. I will keep on fighting for justice and freedom as long as I am able to breathe. And I ask all of you to please do the same. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Omaya. Fabulous. And now our next Cabot Gold medalist, Nora Gámez Torres. Would you please come to the podium? In her career as a correspondent at the Miami Herald and El Nuevo Herald, Nora Gámez Torres has provided deeply reported, compelling coverage of Cuba, becoming the most authoritative voice on the island nation in the US media. With Cuban media under tight government control, many Cubans also learn about events in their own country through her reporting. Nora is Cuban by birth and a citizen of the United States. Before joining El Nuevo Herald in 2014, she taught journalism in Havana and earned a PhD in sociology from City University of London. Since the Obama administration, she's provided essential coverage of US-Cuba relations and historic developments on the island, often beating Havana-based competition, although she hasn't been allowed in Cuba for 9 years. That's very impressive. Even from afar, Nora has documented daily life across the island in a collapsing economy. She's reported on the pivotal role Cuban Americans in Miami played in the return of capitalist enterprises to Cuba, written exclusives on the Havana syndrome illness that struck U.S. diplomats, and the arrest of a former U.S. ambassador in Miami who said he would plead guilty to acting as a foreign agent of Cuba. For her fair, accurate, and groundbreaking journalism, the Mariah Moore's Cabot Jury is proud to honor Nora Gámez Torres with a Cabot Gold Medal.
I'm amazed I'm standing here today. After all, as someone who studied journalism in Cuba, I was supposed to be reporting on Communist Party meetings right now, not shining light on the Cuban government human rights abuses, or how they have been stashing millions of dollars away in secret bank accounts while the population scrounges for scraps out of trash bins. This award sends a powerful message to governments that seek to control what can be said about the country they rule. We cannot let them dictate that. I'd like to thank the Mariah Moore's Cabot Award judges and Columbia University for this tremendous honor. It's an incredible privilege to stand next to so many distinguished writers and continue the line of Cuba-born journalists who have received this distinction. This, of course, would not have been possible without the love and supporting of my amazing family, especially my mother, Angela, who is a news junkie too, and my sisters, Maura and Regla. I have also been fortunate to count on the mentoring and friendship of incredibly women throughout the years, including the Cuban American women who have led the Miami Herald and El Nuevo Herald, and my dearest friend, Jacqueline Charles, a fearless reporter and an authority on the Caribbean. You guessed it, she's also a Cabot Award winner. I'm also very lucky to have the best editor possible, my friend Jay Ducasi here, with whom I have spent countless hours discussing the human and the divine in Spanglish, of course, and without whom it would have been even tougher to be a working mom who also win awards. There is a reason why more than a dozen Miami Herald staffers have previously received this high honor. This is a testament to the Herald's unwavering commitment to reporting on Latin American and the Caribbean, which, fortunately for us, continues with the support of its parent company, McClatchy, and the leadership of our executive editor, Alex Mena. For us, Cuba stories are local stories. As our industry faces increasing financial pressures and this country looks inwards, consistent coverage of the region is becoming a rarity in US media. However, writing stories that contribute to inter-American understanding, as this award reminds us, is as urgent as always. It is not just that after years of neglect, suddenly the region now prominently features in US foreign policy, or that it has become entangled in protracted domestic debates about immigration. It is also the case that the people of the Caribbean and Latin America, whose voices are often overlooked, need us to tell their stories, whether the challenges they face are here in the US or at home. In particular, the fracture of democracy continues to have a devastating effect on the lives of many. Let me conclude with a reminder of what happens in a country where free speech is not protected. Right now, Cuban independent journalist Jose Gabriel Barrenechea is facing a 6-year prison sentence because he banged pots and chanted, "We want electricity," during a peaceful protest last year in Cuba. a young man, Cristian de Jesus Peña Aguilera, was sent to prison for 4 years for, and I quote the sentencing document, clicking on the share option on Facebook, meaning he simply shared a post the government deemed counter-revolutionary. And a young mother, Mayelin Rodriguez Prado, is serving a 15-year prison sentence because she live-streamed a protest. These stories keep me awake at night. And I wonder, would I have fared differently had I stayed? One thing is clear. We must continue to give them a voice. Thank you.
Nora, congratulations again. And now if I could invite Natalia, Viana from Brazil to come to the podium. Natalia is the kind of journalist our times demand, a reporter, editor, and entrepreneur who builds digital native investigative media outlets that expose power and its inner workings in an era that is overwhelmed by disinformation. Her investigations are rigorous and have had a profound impact. In one, she exposed illegal activities within Brazil's corruption task force, Operation Car Wash. It was suspended by the Brazilian Supreme Court for being biased. Another investigation exposed how military justice is overly lenient when members of the military kill Brazilian civilians and has led to more oversight of the military courts. But her contributions go beyond her individual work. In 2011, she co-founded an investigative nonprofit newsroom grounded in thorough fact-finding investigations called Agência, let's see if I can do Jelani's accent. Wait, maybe not. Agência Pública. Yes. Agência Pública. As a news agency, they distribute in-depth investigations in Portuguese, English, and Spanish. In 2022 alone, their stories were republished by more than 700 news outlets in Brazil and in 18 other countries. For her leadership, innovation, and uncompromising journalistic ethic, the jury is proud to honor Natalia Viana with the Cabot Gold Medal. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Good evening, buenas noches, boa noite. I've got 2 glasses, so I'm one step ahead of Omaya. Thank you so much, the Cabot Jury. Thank you so much, Colombia. Now I can't see any of you, which is great. It's a great honor to receive this award, and it's very emotional to me, as today marks the 80th birthday of my father. Over the last years, I watched as he struggles with dementia, how he keeps waiting for the newspaper to arrive every morning. And then he sits down to read it for a good hour, just like he did when I was a child. He cannot read it anymore, but he circles every word with colored pens to mark the passage of time and the fact that history is unfolding outside. This is the world I come from, and it is a world that is ending. And it fell on my shoulders and on the shoulders of journalists from my generation to reinvent journalism when the habit of consumption of information has changed dramatically. We always took this mission seriously at Agência Pública, which I co-founded 15 years ago with Marina Amaral. We had to reinvent what it means to produce and disseminate hard-hitting investigations when news media reliance is fading. We had to reimagine the newsroom, how to make it less toxic with women in charge. We had to decide what mistakes and power structures from the past we need to get rid of. And yet, there are things that remain the same. If we want journalism to continue to be relevant, we have to fulfill our duty to speak the truth, to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. It is our duty to monitor those who violate the rule of law, who try to subvert our democracies, those who censor and deport people as a way of punishment. We have to denounce corporations like big tech who are creating harm to our societies and our mental health without being held responsible. We have to investigate those who commit genocide and profit from war. In Brazil, as in the US, a political group learned to use algorithms of the big tech platforms in their favor, spreading lies about election fraud and using it to manipulate public opinion and pressured the military to help them stage a coup d'etat. But unlike the US, our society decided to treat this as it is, a crime against our democracy and our people. By Brazil. The perpetrators were investigated, jailed, and sentenced. As journalists, we helped investigate and document this crime. But now Brazil tries to address the structure that allowed for this infodemic and this crime. We learned that democracy is in peril when we let a handful of tech corporations run all conversations without any checks and balances. They must be regulated. And this is one of the key battles in today's world, and it is a battle not only for the future of journalism, and not for the future of information integrity, but also for our collective future. This is a battle I am committed to, and I'm saying this in front of all of you. We all in this room know that we live in times where it is not an option to be silent. When people see the world around them crumbling and changing, it is to journalism that they still turn, just like my father, when he still circles the words in the newspaper. Thank you very much.
That was beautiful. Thank you very much. Congratulations again, Natalia. And congratulations to all of our 2025 Cabot Prize medalists. And now we want to honor our two Special Citation recipients. The first, Jaime Abello Banfi. Jaime, if you could come to the podium. The Cabot Prizes honor journalism and those who promote inter-American understanding. Our first Special Citation recipient is just such a person. 30 years ago, Jaime Abello Banfi co-founded the Foundation for New Ibero-American Journalism alongside Nobel Prize winner Gabriel Garcia Marquez, later renamed the Gabo Foundation in honor of his widely recognized nickname. Garcia Marquez, who always saw himself first and foremost as a journalist, envisioned the foundation as a way to give back to the most beautiful profession in the world. Recruited by Garcia Marquez from a television station, and all right, here we go. Barranquilla, yes, Colombia.
Man of Shakira.
Oh, thank you. Jaime transformed that vision into reality, developing an institution that has benefited thousands of journalists across Latin America. Through workshops, conferences, awards, publications, and other initiatives, the foundation emphasizes ethics, excellence in reporting and writing, and innovative storytelling for the digital era. A staunch defender of press freedom, Jaime has also been a steadfast supporter of Latin American journalists under attack. In recognition of his extraordinary contributions to journalism in Latin America and his role in advancing inter-American understanding, the Mariah Moore's Cabot Jury honors Jaime Abello Banfi with a special citation.
Let me say, first of all, that I am proud of receiving this recognition with such a group of admirable and great women journalists. I stand here because of a phone call I received in 1993 when I was the director of Telecaribe in Barranquilla. On the line was Gabriel Garcia Marquez, winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature, whom I had met 10 years earlier. Gabo, as we liked to call him, asked me to help him bring to life a project he had been imagining, an institution where experienced journalists would lead workshops to strengthen the ethical compass and the investigative and narrative skills of younger reporters. Thus, in Cartagena, we created the Fundación para un Nuevo Periodismo Iberoamericano, an institution dedicated to protecting, elevating, and promoting a profession that Gabo described as an insatiable passion. 30 years later, we have trained, inspired, connected, and supported thousands of journalists from Latin America and Spain. True to Gabo's spirit, we are guided by the conviction that journalism grounded in rigor, ethics, creativity, and closeness to ordinary citizens in their pursuit of justice is indispensable for freedom and democracy. From the beginning, we decided that the foundation should be located in the Caribbean, in Cartagena, and not in Bogotá, Mexico City, or Madrid. We wanted to stay close to our roots and away from the centers of political and intellectual power. I deeply enjoy my Caribbean roots. Although I travel constantly, I always return there. We have demonstrated that from this peripheral territory, we can project an universal voice. I once asked Garcia Marquez what he would recommend a young aspiring journalist to study. After a pause, he simply replied, poetry. I understood then that journalism, like poetry, requires listening, precision, and a sensitivity to words, qualities that help us to tell the truth with dignity and humanity. That lesson is more urgent than ever in times of disinformation, polarization, and technologies that threaten public conversation, the sense of common good, and even the meaning of truth itself. Gabo was known for declining awards, yet in 1971 he accepted an honorary doctorate from this very university in recognition of his literary and journalistic achievements. For that reason, it's a profound honor for me to accept the special citation of the Cabot Prize, not only on my own behalf, but on behalf of a vibrant community of Spanish and Portuguese-speaking journalists who, against all odds, whether in their home countries or in exile, resist on the front lines, innovate from the margins, and continue to believe in the transformative power of stories. I wish to thank Gabo, wherever he may be, for his trust and generosity. His sons, Rodrigo Gonzalo, now leading directors of the foundation. The teachers, like Maestro Rosenthal, like Natalia, and many here present, and journalists who have shared their craft and discoveries in our workshops. Our allies for supporting journalism as a public good. The many generations of our team for their tireless and joyful work, and the friends, old and new, who have sustained both the foundation and myself throughout this journey. My deepest gratitude goes to my family, represented here by my husband, Charlie. They know this mission demands time, travel, and sleepless nights, but they also know that nothing we have built would have been possible without their patience and loving presence. It has not been easy, but it has been fulfilling and joyful. This recognition is theirs as well. Our commitment for the future is to keep journalism as a bastion of free expression, critical thinking, and humanism at a time when authoritarianism is on the rise, when corrupt and criminal leadership seems to gain ground, and when the unchecked advance of artificial intelligence threatens to impose a kind of knowledge hegemony without any oversight of its enormous risks. Journalists have had to migrate from the palaces to the trenches, but we at the Gabo Foundation will continue to celebrate with joy what, in Garcia Marquez's own words, is the best profession in the world. Thank you very much.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations again. Now I'd like to invite our final honoree to the podium, Paola Margot Ugaz, please. Ugaz Cruz, please come to the podium. In one of the final edicts he issued before his death, Pope Francis abolished a powerful Peruvian religious movement known as the Sodalicio de Vida Cristiana. This group was held responsible by the Vatican for brutal, systematic abuse of its followers, some of whom were minors. What led Francis to take this unprecedented step was journalism by the courageous Paola Margot Ugaz Cruz. Thank you. In 2015, she and Pedro Salinas, a former member of the Sodalicio, co-wrote a book titled Half Monks, Half Soldiers, which detailed dozens of horrifying accounts of Sodalicio clergy subjecting their most vulnerable followers to abuse. Her work showed how the group mismanaged the church's money and properties for its own enrichment, and how its ties to the country's most influential elected officials and business magnates allowed it to operate with impunity. Since Paola brought these facts to light, she has been targeted with harassment and lawsuits. These attacks only make her stronger. As she heard from her mentor, Gustavo Guriti, who is also a Cabot Prize honoree, fear can never be your editor. At a time when the world needs more of this kind of courage, Paola Cruz has earned a special citation from the Mariah Moore's Cabot Jury. Congratulations.
Buenas noches. Why journalism matters. For 10 years, I have been the target of a disinformation campaign whose goal is to put me in jail. Because I am a journalist, a woman, and a mother, the attacks focus on my private life and my body. Since they cannot refute my investigations, they have made me the target of threats, defamation, and espionage. None of what I've just told you is heard in my country, because the powerful people who investigate me also control the media. My crime, investigating the physical, sexual, and psychological abuse, and then the finance of Sodalicio de Vida Cristiana, a powerful Peruvian Catholic organization endorsed by Pope John Paul II. Together with my friend Pedro Salinas, we published Mitad Monjes, Mitad Soldados in 2015, and that investigation revealed the workings of a financial empire that enjoyed decades of impunity. Without that money, the machinery of abuse would not have survived more than half a century. After the book was published, the Sodalicio financed a smear campaign and legal complaints. One of its allies was Rafael López Aliaga, a businessman, mayor of Lima, ultra-conservative politician, partner of Sodalicio members, and presidential hopeful. During the pandemic, I was falsely accused of money laundering and organized crime with false evidence published in a newspaper linked to corruption. Even so, I continue to write. Thanks to the support of several bishops, including the man who would later become Pope Leo XIV, on November 10, 2022, I met with Pope Francis. I asked him to send a mission to Peru to investigate what was happening to journalists and victims of Sodalicio. 8 months later, the Vatican sent Monsignor Charles Chicluna and Jordi Bertomeu to verify our allegations. Last May, it was revealed that Robert Prevost, then Bishop of Chiclayo and now Pope Leo XIV, had been helping us since 2018. His closeness to Peru and his commitment to the truth were key. Just 2 weeks ago, I met with the now Pope, and he was delighted about this award. He asked me to tell you all to keep going and that journalism enrich our souls. As Pope, he also wrote a letter to Peruvian journalists. It said, quote, "Defending free and ethical journalism is not only an act of justice, but a duty of all who yearn for a solid democracy," unquote. His words resonated during the presentation of Proyecto Ugaz, a play written by Vera Castaño and Rocío Limo that tell this story of persecution, resistance, and memory. What happened to me echoes our story. At the end of the 19th century, journalist Clorinda Mato de Turner was persecuted and exiled for rebellion abuse by priests. "If I'm persecuted and slandered for speaking out, it doesn't matter," she said. "The seed has been sown." Like her, I believe that journalism that makes those empowered and comfortable sows the seed of the future. I'm grateful to the Mariah Moores Cabot Prize Jury, Columbia University, Pope Leo XIV, and all those who have supported me along the way. This recognition also belongs to the victims of Sodalicio and to the journalists who continue to believe that telling the truth, even if it hurts and comes at a high price, remains an act of faith. Thank you also, my beloved, my dear Daniel, my beloved children, Isabella and Liam, my noisy table here, my mother, Margot, Antonio, my mentors, Enrique Sileri and Gustavo Gorriti, and finally to the survivors of Sodalicio. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again. Thank you.
Will all the recipients and citation recipients please come up so we can do a photo?
diplomas, yes, exactly.
Should I go over that?
It's a small student.
Yeah, for all of us. Wait, sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
¡Oh, para el Gabo!
Okay. Thank you, everybody. What a fabulous evening. Congratulations again.